music. How does one get back into making videos again? Hi, I haven't uploaded. Well, I've uploaded recently, but I haven't filmed and made videos in probably 5 months. Basically what was happening, I think the last video that I saw was me talking about what happened after my gender care appointment and how I was waiting for my prescription, the very last bit of my prescription. So after that, was very discouraged. It took a further 2 weeks to sort everything out and get my prescription through, but alas, on the 14th of August, I finally had my first T-shot, and before I sorted everything, it was just really bad. I didn't want to make videos anymore because I just felt like I was going nowhere, because the first lot of videos I was making, it was back in January, and I was making them right through till April, and then April I had my gender care appointment, and everything was really great, and I was revitalized because I wasn't going anywhere, and it got me really down. So even after I got the go-ahead for my prescription for my testosterone, I couldn't find a nurse to inject it for me. So I essentially said that I was going to do it by myself, which I was going to have to do anyway. A lot of people get their first shot done with a nurse, and then they do the rest themselves after a nurse teaches you how to do it. But at that point, it was looking like an extra month until my appointment, so I wouldn't be on testosterone until about mid-September or early September, and I was supposed to be starting university, and I didn't know my exact date. I didn't see that as an option for me, and I'm just saying, just full disclosure, don't do that. Don't do that. Go and see a proper doctor, a proper nurse, get it done properly. You know, I'm not telling people to do their T-shots by themselves. I'm not telling people to do that because it's bad and lots of things can go wrong. Luckily, I had a friend who's studying to be a nurse right now who knows a lot about intramuscular injections, and she was talking to me through it. This sounds ridiculous, but I had watched literally 100 how to self-administer an intramuscular injection. Literally watched hundreds until I knew every single step. I talked to as many people that were actually in the medical field as possible, and I downloaded multiple, like 100+ page PDFs on how to safely administer one. So I like to think that I was very educated. So don't think that I was being reckless, but at that point I had no option, really. I could not go more than a day of having my prescription sat on my shelf but it not be in me. So I ended up doing it myself. It was fine. I did my first shot in my right leg, in my quad. It went well. I aspirated, I did everything I should have. I was FaceTiming my nurse friend while I was doing it, and she was talking me through like how to be safe and everything. So everything was fine. Injected it on myself. It was really painful the next day because I was worried about aspirating, so I think I aspirated a lot, and I think I was like pulling at my muscle, because my needles they're about that long, so it definitely went really deep into the muscle, and I was quite shaky, so the needle wasn't very steady, but it was fine. I didn't do anything dangerous apart from cause myself a bit of discomfort. I couldn't walk for about 4 days properly, but then it was fine. So now we'll get on to the changes. I think I uploaded a video before the last one called Preety Documentation, and I went from head to toe about how I was preety, and I was hoping to do a update video like every month on how I was doing, but I didn't do that. However, I do have a thread on Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter. I'm a fan account, so, but I have a really good thread on like what's changed, and so if you're wondering, you can go check that out. I'll link it below. So the very first change that I realized was happening was, I'll do the as they're going in real time, so I'll do the first lot that I noticed, and then I will do changes now. So within the first week I noticed bottom growth. And that doesn't mean that it was like straight away, like I just noticed, like it just felt different. So that was probably one of the first things I noticed, to be honest. About 4 days in, I had a tiny voice drop, which I was really shocked about, because a lot of people say that the voices, it takes a long time. So I was really happy that I was like, yes. I also went to a gig and I got sick about 2 weeks after I started tea, so I was very hoarse. I was using my voice a lot, so I think that probably sped up any sort of drop that was going to happen. I'm not saying that if you've started tea screaming, it'll make your voice drop faster. Don't do that, because if your voice drops too quickly, it can damage your voice and make you sound gross. So just take it slow, let tea do its thing. I also noticed that my face was changing a little bit. I know it's normally a couple of months in, but by a few weeks I was noticing a change in my face. Then the hair started to come in. So I've been on minoxidil since June. It doesn't look it because I've shaved fairly recently. So I've been using minoxidil. I got loads of fluff pre-tea. I had loads and loads of fluff. Like I had it almost looked like beard hair. My sideburns were really strong. My cheeks, there was not a patchiness at all. But then when I started tea, I wanted to clean shave to see what kind of difference I had in facial hair, which I regret because I wish I just kept my fuzz, because it made me feel really dysphoric. But I noticed that there was a change when it did come back. Normally, when I shaved my fuzz, pre-tea, it would take a while to come through, and it would come back quite fluffy again. It wouldn't really have stubble. You could feel it, but you couldn't see it. But as soon as I shaved and I was about a week on tea, I had proper stubble. So obviously, because I was on minoxidil, tea sort of kicked it up the bum, get a bit more towards transitional hair. And now I'm 4 months on tea, and I don't know if you can see, I've just done my shot, so my leg's really sore. I did my shot yesterday, but I've got a bit of a mustache, and I do have a beard. I've trimmed it back recently, just because it looks gross when it's long. I think I'm keeping my mustache though, because it's coming in okay-ish. If it gets really long, I'll probably trim it, but I've got really strong sideburns, and this patch of hair here is terminal hair, which I'm super excited about. Especially for 4 months, a lot of guys don't get hair and facial hair, terminal facial hair, until like 6, 7, 8 months on tea, up to a year, a couple of years. You know, it varies from person to person. So, the next thing I noticed was energy levels, strength, and mood. My mood went up drastically. I was just a lot happier. I felt a lot more rational, and I felt a lot more less impulsive. If a thing upset me, I would sort of step back and have a look at it, and probably be a bit more angry rather than emotional. So that's another thing I've found. My energy levels went right up. Pre-tea, I would sleep like 10 hours and still be tired. And I mean, I'm not saying, because people would be in the comments like, if you sleep 10 hours, it makes you more tired. But like, I literally would sleep anywhere. Like, I tried getting 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, and then like 6.5 to try and find but like, I was just never, ever awake. I was so tired. But as soon as I started tea, I would easily get like 7 hours sleep and then just get out of bed, which is great. Downside to that though, on the last bit of my cycle, I do get really fatigued, so I think I need my dosage adjusted. I think I need my dose more often. But yeah. Next thing I noticed was body hair. It just started coming in everywhere. Chest, back, ass, legs. I used to have really hairy legs on the bottom of my legs. It almost looked like a sock. My friends would take the piss out of me. But now it's all of my leg. My entire leg is like thick hair. Let's see if I can get my leg up here. Like, do you see that? That's my entire leg. pretty much. My stomach is getting hairy as well now, my chest as well. It seems to be everywhere is hairy apart from my face, really, which is sad. Biggest biggest change so far is voice. I'm so much more comfortable with my voice now. I'm so glad that it dropped as much as it did. I hope it drops some more, but I'm happy with this. If it stays like this, I won't be mad. I have quite a feminine, like, way of talking. So sometimes it makes me sound a bit camp, but it's all in my head. Nobody's picking up on it. I'm really glad that my voice dropped as much as it did. I feel like it's the main thing that helps me pass. Because when people talk to me, they're like, "Oh, right, I understand," you know. I'm much broader now. The camera won't do it justice. But I was looking at pictures of myself pre-T the other day, and I was so skinny. I was like, my shoulders were like this, and like I had no meat on me. Like, I'm not saying that I've got muscle. I have got a bit, but like it's nothing. But I literally, there was nothing here. There was nothing on my shoulders, and I just looked really sort of sunken in. And my neck was, I didn't realize that my neck got thicker until I looked back. I was like, my neck used to be literally like this, and now it's like massive. What else? Oh, trigger warning, Shark Week. That stopped immediately, which I was so happy about. I was so happy about that. Literally within the first week, I think it was supposed. I never really kept track of how regular it was, or how often it was, or how long it, like, I never really cared about it. I would just be like, oh, fucking hell, and I would deal with it. But I think it was due to happen about a week into being on T, and I was thinking, oh, that'll probably hopefully be my last one, or maybe my second to last one, while I build up a bit of testosterone in my body. But literally never came, and I still haven't had anything like that. It just makes me so happy that I don't have to worry about that anymore. What else? Oh, my hairline has receded. Let me just go ahead and put my hat back on. Yeah, my hairline's definitely receded, which I'm not very happy about. I got a really bad haircut last month, and it made it. That was the first time I realized, like, oh shit, my hair's actually receding. It was such a bad haircut. This is my aloe. It's really pink. If anyone has any tips on how to make an aloe not pink, I've tried everything, by the way. I've tried to fertilize it. I've tried to repot it into nutritious soil. I've tried to keep it in the shade. I've tried to keep it in the sun. I've tried to water it more or less. It's the fussiest aloe you have ever met in your life. Like, if anyone has any tips, seriously, like, I would appreciate it. If you have any questions about what's happened, if I've missed anything vitally important that you really want to know about, shoot me a question down below, and I will probably answer it. But yeah, I'm doing great. I feel like I'm doing great. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. But now people assume I'm like 18. And when I tell them I'm 20, they're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It was funny because the first time I went into university, I made a friend called, we'll call him Dale, and I sat with Dale, and he was like, "Oh, so what brings you to this uni, blah blah blah, like what do you work or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, blah blah blah, I did this, I came from my hometown, I came here, I'm doing biology now, blah blah blah, I had a gap year." And he was like, "Oh, you had a gap year, so you're 19. And I was like, "No, I'm 20. And he was like, "What? You're 20? And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, bro, like, you've got to grow a beard or something to, like, add a couple of years on you." And I was like, "Bitch, I'm trying." Like, obviously I didn't, like, I was like, yeah, I really should. But other than that, it's really good for me to be in a place where they just see me as Josh and, like, nothing else. is pretty tight. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Coffee, ASMR. Somebody kill me. Yeah. See you in the next one. Hopefully it won't be in like 5 months. If it is, then kill me.